Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here this morning. Got a great show lined up. As always, I've never lined up a bad show, but we're looking forward to getting it done this morning. Our weather today brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning. Drew Potter and hard-working crew taking care of our everyday comfort needs. We're looking at a high today of low 90s here on the coast, inland higher, and the heat index even higher than that. So low is going to be 79. The water temperature is even 80 degrees at the end of the period, sort of jumping between 80 and 82. So warm water, a really good time of the year to get in the water and swim on good calm days. Our river region brought to us by Panama City Coca-Cola. We're looking at the Apalachicola of Bluntstown. It's falling out. It's at a 9.5 this morning, a good steady fall to it. The Chaltessia Carabel, a mirror copy, is doing the same thing. It's a 9.2, falling out by the same rate. So they're both of them pretty close this morning, shaping up for a good weekend on the river. So it's going to be dropping water, and it's going to be warm in the middle of the day. So try to go early and late, as we talk about all the day. Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Today is July the 19th. Looking at great tide today. We'll have the high tide right in the middle of the day, 11:24, and dropping out about 9:45 tonight. A good strong, you got an incoming tide in the morning and dropping out after lunch. So good situation there. The wind coming out of the west, southwest at about 8 to 10. Okay, let's take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I have some pictures lined up for you. These pictures, it sort of reflects the times we're in, and a lot of times what's going on around us. Most, about 90-some% of them are here locally, but I do pick up different ones. But I saw this one the other day. I started not to copy it and share it with you, but I just thought this is something that's coming right here. And there's a group of people, believe it or not, that sort of don't like the idea either, and I have torn feelings about it too. Save our farms, no more solar fields. If you look around, and right here between here and Weewall, huge solar field, and they're telling me up in Georgia, my Georgia friends saying these farms up there are selling out because the money's so good, and they're selling out these solar fields. I know Bluntstown, Calhoun County got it, but you know, you get used to riding around seeing all these beautiful farms, and all of a sudden you see all these panels, and I'll be honest with you, they're ugly, but I know that's the wave of the future. So it's just interesting to watch. I don't know. I just hate selling the farm. So anyway, I just want to pass that on to you. Now here's a good one too. We are not here long enough to be living unhappy. Amen. One more funny one. Make sure you got your fishing license this year. They're getting real sneaky. I don't know the story behind this one. This is not local, but he's hiding in a canal trying to catch somebody catching an illegal catfish. I'm not going to read this whole thing to you, but it's from Billy Archer, and what he's talking about, he crosses the Hathaway every morning. He lives at the beach, so every morning he crosses the Hathaway Bridge, and like most of us, we look at that flag to see which way the wind is blowing. And that particular morning, and you know how bad the wind's been. And that particular morning, this was last week, he crossed it. He looked at the flag, and it was just, you know, drooping, no wind. I know he was elated because, you know, it's going to be a great day, not many big waves and all that. So if you know, you know. So he gets out there, and he said, he was going to have a blessed day. Okay, right here in the middle, a 3-knot tide, which is a strong tide, and then 15 knot on the right side, 15 knot winds offshore. So you can, but anyway, with that being said, look at the red snapper he caught. So on the Seminole wind, all our captains are really having a challenge with the wind, but that goes to show you how the weather conditions will change. That morning, you know, before that, right at daybreak, it would look beautiful. You get out there, and that tide is pulling really strong, and that's the reason we've had these undertows and all, because it's been so strong, and then that wind is blowing, and the waves are like this. So I just want to share that with you. Okay, let's move on. Here's a picture here. Steve Rogers sent this to me. This is brother Greg Rogers caught this 10-pound bass. 10-pound bass, folks, is nice. Friday afternoon in the Sandhill Pond. And how often do we talk, like every Friday, about fishing those Sandhill ponds? Good job, Greg, and thank you for Steve for sending it to me. Got to get you back on the show soon. Laurie McNeil, our late dad, Bill McNeil, made all the mullet cast nets for us. We are usually putting the big fish on, but she's talking about the smallest fish in St. Andrew Bay. That's her husband, Rusty Russell, and Laurie shared this. And here it is. I bet Bill is laughing at you, Laurie. But look at that up under the bridge, and sometimes we show pictures of small fish. I thought this is good. Children still need a childhood with dirt, mud, puddles, trees, sticks, and tadpoles. That is so true. Get them outdoors with nature. And this is just a picture here. This is down around the St. George Island. Someone posted this, but isn't that beautiful? We talk a lot about outdoor photography, and I haven't talked a lot about taking pictures, but this is just really a beautiful picture. And down there, St. George Island. This is reserved for green vehicles. This guy, he has a green truck, so he thought that was for him. I just was in a funny mood last night. Okay, so we'll that takes care of the picture. I do want to mention the redfish tournament this past week. The winners, they did a good job. The Emerald Coast Redfish Tournament. Here are the winners right here. This is over here at Gore Park, over here in Parker. First place, no surprise here, Carter Myers and Fred Myers. In second place, Joe Myers and Braden Harris. And third place, Jacob Wright and Kelsey Cocker. That's the top 13 teams right there. And here's a couple. I'll show you the pictures. The big red was 7.3 pounds, Fred, Carter, and then Braden and Joe caught a 7 pounder. That's two big reds. Big trout, 2.8 pounds. The most spots down there, Dennis and Kevin Eifert had a one with 10 spots there. Okay, and then here's Fred and Carter. Carter's growing, isn't he? He's getting on, he'll catch up with his daddy. All right, here's Joe and Braden. Good job there. And our third place, a couple fishing that. Good job on that tournament there. Okay, so that tournament is the Emerald Coast Redfish Circuit, and they go around different places right along the Emerald Coast. We've covered some before. We're not able to make the way in, but I appreciate them touching base with us, and congratulations. Some familiar faces in that tournament, so get a chance to enter those. There is always fun doing it. Let's take a break, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. I think all of y'all know how I feel about our heritage here locally, about the outdoors and about the boat building and the fishing and everything that we've gone through. This place has been actually inhabited by mankind. It's been so important. So when I did the book, I did a lot of research, as you know, but I ran across this picture someone posted the other day of this big wooden boat, and it's a Timpati. This is not a local picture, but the first vessel docked at Marine Ways in Sherman Shipyard in 1920. And I got to thinking, I actually did the story on the Sherman Shipyard, and so I haven't done a heritage show this month, so we're going to do a little segment here on our heritage, and we're talking about the wooden boat building. And they started the Millville Shipyard, the Sherman family, and what had happened when World War I broke out, it started in the early 1900s. World War I broke out, and then it was a German-American ship company. Then the government took it over to build ships, and then it came back to the family. So basically, I just when the war broke out right here, they started the shipyard in 1907. I won't read it, and went on up here. And here's some of the boats. The Laird family, the Sherman family. You can see different ones. They were built from 1924 to 1928, right there in Millville. And it was really cool finding some of these old pictures of the crew. Here's one in 1924. Look at the men it took. Just look at all the men it took to build these old ships. Look at there. What a crew. And they all worked hard. Can you imagine working in the sun? They had no shade and built a big old boat like that. And they didn't have books to go by. They just had to pass it down the knowledge. And this was just talking about one of them was caught. They were doing real well. They even were sending fish to Cuba. But then what happened, a big hurricane hit, and one of the boats that headed toward Cuba, they lost it. They had no insurance, of course, and then the Depression hit, so they had some hard times. And then the war broke out. It's a great story. I got some really extensive research on it. And right here is the John Henry Sherman. She was the second vessel built, and that's one that grounded in dry Tortugas. Can you imagine building that and then losing it just because of a storm? It was tough times in those days, and he was building another one here. That's down in Millville. That's why, and Eastern Marine is there now. That's what's so cool about it. And then, but this is the guy I got the information from. This fellow right here, Bill. He's passed on now, but he and I spent a lot of time. I'd go there on Saturday morning. He was 85 when I talked to him there, and he told me so many stories. I couldn't put them all in the book. Some of them were not. Well, some of them should not have been shared in the book. So, but Bill Frederickson, he was quiet. He showed me. He's back in the shop, and that's some of the tools he used when he worked at the shipyard. And then he gave me this picture here. That is the favorite boat of W.C. Sherman. Here's Bill fishing off of it. That's him on the right side, and then that's Mr. Sherman here. And this is that was Walter Sherman. That was in 19 whatever. But what I want to show you on this particular story, right here in the center, when he entertained guests. Look at the guests right here. Over the years, Sherman would entertain many guests and business associates, many famous. Among them were the Mayo brothers, founders of the Mayo Clinic, the Florida Governor Spencer Holland, and General Patton actually went on that boat. And it had been remodeled several times, and that was a picture in 1937, and the boat was, by 1980, it was flat worn out, and they went out to offshore and took it, actually took it offshore and sank it as a reef. And I don't know where it is now. I don't know if it's still, that was 1980 or 40-something years ago. So anyway, that's just great heritage we have here of shipbuilding, especially in the Millville area. That was deep water over there. They were able to naturally launch this. So just want to share that with you. Now let's go from past to the future. This weekend, the MBAR Mexico Beach Artificial Reef Association, the tournament's this weekend. The captain's party is this Friday, I think from 5 till 8. And you don't have to be in the tournament. You can go buy a meal, and you can also buy all kind of raffle tickets. They're raffling off all kind of things, and I may or may not be there. I've got a busy schedule, of course, but I'm going to try to make it. I love those captain's parties because it's good food, good fellowship, and got a chance of winning some prizes and all. Okay, so now those raffles are good. So now I want to do a giveaway. Let's get back a tackle giveaway, and you know what all is in here. But Jeff also added his DVD. This is a must-have because it shows the area before Hurricane Michael destroyed a lot of it. A Walk Through Nature with Jeff Peck. And so you can see we got the cup in here. If you remember what we gave away last week, the same stuff right here. And the tackle, I won't go through all the tackle, Z-Man and all kind of fishing lures and all that. Okay, in the bag, there it is right here. So let's give this away this morning. The winner of the tackle bag, and you pick it up here at Fox 28, 700 West 23rd Street. And the winner is Buddy Walsh. Buddy Walsh. I'm gonna put it right over here. Let's keep it all over here. And we might need to play some of this for long. Just go. We want to just relax. Okay, so now we got MBAR coming up. And if you have any pictures to share, if you're fishing it, we're not fishing it this year. And if you have any pictures, if you go down there, I can get the weigh-in online. And again, I may be at a weigh-in. It's just accordingly. If you want something to do on a weekend, you got a captain party, then you got the weigh-in. It's always a lot of fun too. And taking kids to it is always enjoyable. And all kind of T-shirts and all kind of fun things. Okay, now one of the things y'all have been so good about sending in pictures. One of the things I wanted to show. Let's see. We'll talk about my cousin, Jerry Baker. Here it is right here. Jerry up here in Sand Hills. He lives up here at Leisure Lakes. Jerry, cousin of mine, the fox and raccoon are sharing while one raccoon has a feeder all to himself. Okay, so he feeds these animals, and it's neat how you got a fox on one side and a raccoon on the other side. and they're very compatible. They're not, because if there's just one pile, they'd be fussing and clawing each other back and forth. But I thought the funny part of it, I'm going to zoom in on this sign. I don't know where he found this sign. Please wash your paws. And if you know, all kind of animals do different kind of things, but the raccoon is famous for cleaning, having clean food, and I thought that was really, really good. Now the other raccoon, I don't know if he's antisocial, but he has his own pile by himself over there. So good job, Jerry, taking care of our nature up there in the Leisure Lake, Sand Hills area. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Let's take a look at our fishing game time today, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers in Port St. Joe. Our time is from 1:04 a.m. to 3:04 and 1:27 to 3:27 tonight. And there's some, like I say, that's some good time to go because it's not, this morning it's not really hot. We'll talk about different things you can do in outdoors. I mentioned the pictures and everything, outdoor photography, and just being able to get outdoors and relax. And over the years, Gail and I really enjoyed feeding our birds, and like Jerry feeds the raccoons and the foxes and all. I know a lot of y'all feed the wildlife, have deer in the backyard and different things, and it's enjoyable to see them get up there. And but our bird population over this year, so for some reason, they're just all over the place. All kind of birds coming in, and we've got a special kind of food, and they're fighting over the food, and we got 2 or 3. Y'all do the same thing. Got 2 or 3 feeders, and they're just fighting. But I was thinking, I looked up the top 10 birds of Florida, and that you see all the time. And the thing about it, we've been able to see these here pretty regular. In fact, I've got a bunch of them. Let's start on it right here. Okay, this is the cardinal, what you call a redbird, the male and female. They're real pretty. Then the tufted titmouse, that's a popular bird here. You see a lot of them. And the chickadees, they're funny too, and they it's amazing how quick they just look around. And old blue jay, my father-in-law never really liked these. He fed birds too, and he just said they were bullies. And you start watching them, and they do. They come in and run everything away. The bigger birds are just bullies. It makes me mad. Little scrub jay, a lot of people mistake this for the bluebird, Florida scrub jay, and then the American robin. And you see a lot of those robins, red-breasted robin. Oh, we see, that's a great picture here, whoever took this. Of course, a dove, and they are prevalent. Of course, they're ground feeders, so I throw some stuff on the ground for them, and I want to have a dove shoot in the backyard, but I don't think we're going to be able to do that. The starlings, and that's an aggressive bird. They'll go down the chimney if you're not careful. The goldfinch, that's a really pretty bird this time of the year. And so those are the top 10 birds we see. We see a lot of those around, and you may or may not do it. It's relaxing to us. We really enjoy doing it. The feeding the birds and all, and watching them, and it's just been relaxing. My dad did it. Gail's dad did it, and I thought when I was a young man, I'm never going to do something like that. That's stupid, but I flat out enjoy it now. Now let's move on. For some reason, I've been thinking about, maybe it goes back to a couple weeks ago when we had all these strong tides and these folks drowning. We were talking about the Gulf, how dangerous it is at times, and it was at that time. It's not quite as bad now. The undertow hasn't been as bad. But a lot of times we overlook our freshwater challenges and dangers, and maybe I'm more aware of it now. Mason's been going down there after work to Howard Creek, and he and his buddies, and they don't know the area that well, but they're just jumping in a boat and going as you do as the teenage boys, like we all did. And I was thinking over the years, the river situations where in that area, the lower end of Apalachicola, even the Choctawhatchee to an extent, you can sort of get in a bind, especially if you're going after 5 o'clock, going after work, and then getting up there and get turned around. And the big thing about it, you don't have cell service in those areas. You can't call and say, "Hey, Dad, I need some help." So make sure you have some kind. I've just been thinking about this. So make sure, I've told him, you have some kind of emergency situation where you can actually get help. And I've done this before. These wind-up flashlights. I just think so much of them. You wind them up. The ones I've been bringing in the past, I've got 2 or 3 of these. I've had a yellow one, and you wind it up, and then you have the. Okay, I hadn't wound this up enough to get enough energy, but I did last night. I got it going good. So, especially for communication, when somebody's going down the river, or you're back there in a slough, or somebody's going down real fast or something, and you're trying to get attention. Okay, so that works. Okay, you don't see it now, but I promise you it worked. It worked last night, so it's a good. That's something good happening. I've had some kind of emergency tools, and I don't know how many of these I have in my truck and different places, but some kind of little tool if you need to work on a motor or something, and of course water. Always take plenty of water with you. And I just have several bottles of it, and also some snacks if you can. Usually, if you get in trouble on the river, you're just going to have to sort of spend the night there. So you want to have long sleeves and long pants and all. If not, it's going to be miserable. But it's happened to a lot of folks over the years where they've had to spend the night back in the swamp. I can tell you story after story of even of my brother getting lost one time when as good as outdoorsman as he was. And it's over and over again where outdoor people that know what they're doing just get tied up or have motor problems or something along the river. The lakes aren't that bad, but it's that river system, especially the lower end, where we get caught in trouble. So that's just been on my mind lately. I wanted to share it with you. And it's like the old Boy Scout motto, be prepared. And it's hard to get that message over to teenagers, and because they're, you're invincible and you can do this and that. So always be aware of it. And especially a little more dangerous now with these big bass boats going full speed up and down the river, especially later on in the late evening where it's really hard to see. So just be aware of that. I want to pass that on to you. And these tools, there are so many of them and all, but a wind-up flashlight, just keep it, have 2 or 3 of them with you. I don't know why the thing's not working right now, but it worked really good last night, but I'm going to wind it up some more. Now, wrap it up. Got a big show coming in tomorrow, another guest coming in, and all kinds of things coming out. You send me the pictures of things you've been doing outdoors. It could be fishing, taking pictures, or just getting the kids outdoors, doing different things, or doing things yourself. We'd enjoy sharing them. Got to wrap it up for today. Thank you all for watching our show. We appreciate your viewership. Do something good for your fellow man today. Enjoy the outdoors. Take care of the outdoors, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.